The fast-approaching New York City mayoral race making more and more headlines around the country, with even President Trump posting about it. The city's current mayor, Eric Adams, is denying he had any plans to drop out of the race, despite reports this week Trump aides were working on a plan to offer Adams a job in the administration as a way to get him out of the race, clearing a path, potentially, for former Governor Andrew Cuomo to beat the Democratic candidate Zoran Mamdani. CNN White House reporter Elena Trine is joining us now. Elena, there are so many layers to this. Of course, President Trump, a native New Yorker.
Not sure. This is still not going to work no matter how they slice and dice it, right? Because I think Adams, whatever, he's like 10% of the polls. Cuomo is obviously probably like double that. Mamdani is, in the high 30s, low 40s. The issue is Curtis Lewa. He's not going to drop out of the race. He's a Republican. He has probably the same chances as Eric Adams, maybe a little bit less, of winning in New York City. But he's not going to drop out. And with him not dropping out, it's still a three-way race, and it's just it's not going to happen. There's no way. Mamdani's going to be the next mayor unless something insane happens. And to be honest with you, they deserve what they get. They deserve what they get. I know what they're going to get. I'm unfortunately going to be here for the next little while, but relatively soon, before Mamdani's ends out his term, I will be out of here. So let's see what they say.
This is your reporting. What did you find?
Yeah, I mean, this has really been a fascinating thing to watch, seeing how the White House is now potentially getting involved in this mayoral race. And look, a lot of it is because they do not want Zoran Mamdani to be successful in his bid to become the next mayor of New York City. And we reported that earlier this week, Eric Adams sat down with one of the president's top officials, his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff. They met together in Florida, and they talked about potential future positions for Adams in the Trump administration should he exit the race. And I will caution you that our sources said that there was nothing that was formally offered to Adams, but they did discuss a potential ambassadorship. One of the countries that came up in the course of that conversation was Saudi Arabia. But again, you did hear, you heard Adams yesterday. He came out. He said he wanted to speak directly to New Yorkers. He addressed them from Gracie Mansion and essentially said, "I am staying in this race." He said, "I'm planning to wear this mayor shirt for another 4 years." I will say as well, though, while he insists that he's going to stay in the race, sources close to Adams and his team told us that it really has become untenable, his candidacy for mayor. There are a lot of his advisors telling him that it's unlikely he will have a second term. And so his position on this could change. Now,
Well, here's the thing, right? And if you're playing politics and you're following along, then you have to say that you're staying in the race, right? So if he doesn't say he's staying in the race, which I believe he's not staying in the race, you just put your political hat on. If you come out and say, "I'm not staying in the race," and they don't have to offer you anything. They don't have to give you anything. Right? Trump administration doesn't have to give you a job because they don't have to worry about you, because now they can focus on the next issue that they're having, which is maybe trying to give Curtis Lewa a job or whatever, even though he doesn't need a job. But the issue is, once you understand politics, you understand that he has to come out and explicitly say, "I am staying in this race, period, full stop." He has to. If he doesn't, he loses all leverage in the game, right? Everything now is gone from him. The only tool he has is the fear that him staying in the race assures Mamdani a seat as mayor, which I think he's going to get anyway. I'm sure the Trump administration thinks he's going to get anyway. They just believe that there's a better shot and they can work with Cuomo better than they could with Mamdani. But as of right now, it's not looking too good. But again, Adams has to say this, or he loses all leverage.
I do want you to, as well, to listen to what we heard from the president yesterday in the Oval Office, because he was asked about this, and he essentially admitted that he believes having two candidates try to go after and defeat Mamdani would make it an unwinnable race. Take a listen.
If you have more than one candidate running against him, it can't be one. If you have one candidate, if he's the right candidate, I would say that Cuomo might have a chance of winning if it was a one-on-one. If it's not one-on-one, it's going to be a hard race. And we'll get used to a communist, and he's going to have to go through the White House and get approvals for everything, and we're going to make sure that New York is not hurt.
So you heard the president weighing, saying you think it'll be, hard if it's not just the former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, going up directly against Mamdani. And just to make this more clear, I think the bottom line here is that this White House does want to try and clear the field for Cuomo to try and beat Mamdani in the fall. All of this, as we know, Mamdani is starting to pick up more Democratic support. We know.
Oh my God, the fact that this fucking guy, man. I mean, he's the worst. He's one of the worst, and that's all we got right now. Not Adams. the other guy, Cuomo, guy up there. I mean, what he did during COVID was just unthinkable. Unthinkable. I mean, you want to talk about like people dying and shit like that, like elderly people, because that's who COVID really kicked their ass. If you had comorbidities and stuff like that, you were very susceptible to to a new virus like that, to a novel, your body never seen before coming in there and just wrecking things up when you're already relatively vulnerable. And he forced nursing homes to take those patients back in. That was the thing. If you guys aren't familiar with New York, the rule was once a elderly person was released from the hospital, the nursing home that they were in were then forced to take them back because they didn't want to take them back, obviously, because then they would infect the entire population of the nursing home. Nursing homes are relatively confined. They don't have the ability to really segregate somebody like that in terms of whether it be staffing issues or just whatever it is. They're not capable of handling this. And there were tons of resources. There was ships. There was freaking the Javits Center. There was all these things where we could have figured out a way. Listen, let's take these sick elderly people. I get it. They're not suitable for a hospital setting because the hospital is an emergency, but let's all keep them all together. Why are we taking sick elderly people that are still COVID positive and putting them back in with people that are not sick and they're elderly? And that's what he did. And he killed probably thousands of people. Thousands. And then there was a stupid, bullshit Me Too scandal. Whatever. I don't give a shit about that. What I care about is the fact that his decisions led to massive amount of deaths and they try to cover it up. That was the issue with Cuomo. And the fact that now he's the only guy we have left to save us is pretty shitty.
Senator Bernie Sanders is one who is going to be backing him. So it's an interesting space to watch. For now, Adams saying he is going to be running. He's planning to stay in his seat as mayor, but that could still change.
All right, more to come on this. Elena Trine from the White House, thank you so much for that. And as Adams and Cuomo try to position themselves as alternatives to Mamdani, we're seeing an interesting dynamic among elected Democrats. Top Democratic leadership on the Hill reluctant to endorse the Democratic Socialist Mamdani, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. There is some pressure mounting on Democrats to support him, considering that he got tens of thousands of young voters to come out to the polls, a demographic that Democrats have been struggling with. And tonight, independent Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is joining Mamdani at a town hall in Brooklyn. CNN senior reporter Isaac Dover is there in Brooklyn covering the rally for us. Isaac, help people understand the significance of Bernie Sanders joining Mamdani on stage tonight.
Well, look, Bernie Sanders is probably the most popular figure in the Democratic Party still, and he is back here home in Brooklyn at Brooklyn College, where he first started attending college and ended up graduating from here. But there's been a real surge of passion and energy for Mamdani, and for Sanders, he has been looking for who is going to continue the work of his political agenda past him. He's in his 80s. He's about to turn 80, rather. He is likely not so going to be in the Senate for too many more years, even though he was just reelected. And we will see what the future holds. He is, in a sense, very much passing the torch to Mamdani here, among others, in the political world, but doing it right on stage at Brooklyn College in a room that already we're about an hour out from when this event starts, that is really lively, a lot of energy here to see the two of them together. I was with them earlier in the day as they marched in the Labor Day parade here in New York, and huge excitement for both of them. It's just a lot going on with the connection between the two.
Yeah, and it is interesting more broadly for Democrats across the country, but also two of whom are from Mamdani's home state of New York, as they kind of wrestle with the fact that Mamdani was able to put together this coalition of voters, beat some.
He's able to put together a coalition of fucking retarded people. Let's be honest. They're majority white liberals that are not worried about crime because they live in nice neighborhoods. They're not worried about $30 minimum wage because they got trust funds. They got mom and daddy, and the ones that don't have that are believe the hype that everything could just be given to them, and we could live in utopian society if everyone would just say, hey, everyone can just have everything always. Like, that should work, no problem, right? What's the big deal? What's the big deal of just everyone having everything always, whenever they want, all the time, and not having to work for it? Seems like a great solution, right?
One in the establishment, like Andrew Cuomo, in that primary, and at the same time,
if you can tell, can't tell I was being sarcastic.
He is a self-proclaimed democratic socialist, and there are Democrats very uncomfortable still with his politics.
Democratic socialist is a bullshit term. Doesn't mean anything. They're fucking communists. I don't care what anyone's saying. They're communists. That's what it boils down to. You want to implement government-run grocery stores, free buses, free childcare, $30 minimum wage. Which why not make it $1,000? Make it $1,000 minimum wage. Make it $1,000 an hour. Make it $10,000 an hour. Why stop at 30? Just keep it going. I mean, right now it's at 15. Fuck it. Make it 50. Why stop at 30? I would say they're being selfish. That these people can't pay $50 an hour for people to wash dishes. That is disgusting. And I do not support them in their, whatever, the shekels they want to give these poor people. Only $30 an hour? Terrible.
What is he doing to try to bridge that gap?
Well, he's been reaching out to a lot of people, developers, money people, all sorts of other political leaders in New York. But as you say, it's a quirk of coincidence, essentially, that both the Democratic leader in the House and the Senate are themselves Brooklyn residents. And so they are expected as local politicians to have a say in who they want the mayor of New York City to be. They have not endorsed the Democratic nominee, and it's not clear if they will, when they will. That's creating a lot of tension in local politics, but they're also thinking about how the electorates across the country might look at the Democratic Socialist platform that Mamdani is running on and will implement if he wins and if he's mayor of New York City next year.
And we were just hearing from our colleague Elena Treen on the Trump of it all as well, that President Trump has seemed to insert himself in this race as well. Of course, he lived in New York City for many, many years. What kind of variable is that in what we're seeing go on?
Yeah, Donald Trump is not very popular in his hometown, even though he did better in the presidential election last year than a Republican had done for a while. The mention of Trump's name is a sure way to fire up a lot of Democrats here. And the Democrats that I spoke to, including along the parade route today, elected officials, union members, all are looking at Trump's apparent involvement here and apparent movement to try to stop Mamdani as a way of actually galvanizing things for Mamdani.
And that's why I believe I say, fuck him. Screw you guys. You get what you deserve. Let Mamdani win. And the main thing you have to do, right? If you are of the right, or just normal, like liberal that is not fucking crazy, and you understand how things kind of work and that you can't give everybody everything for free all the time, otherwise the system will collapse, is just hold them accountable. Make sure that when Mamdani is going to get in, the attrition rate of the NYPD is going to soar, crime is going to go up, the city's going to be dirty, they're going to be, they're going to run out of money. Wealthy people, most people are going to leave. The tax base is going to go. It is going to be a disaster. We all know this, right? Just don't let them spin it. Don't let them turn around and say, because look at perfect example. Chicago had Lightfoot. Now they have this other fucking guy who's even worse. He's like a 10% approval rating, but he's still there, and they voted him in, and they knew exactly what he was going to do. And they voted him in, and they let him do it. Now, Trump's going to go in and save the day in Chicago. I disagree. Let them fucking sit there. Let them sit there. Let them get what they wanted. The only way these people change is when the neighborhoods that their nice little neighborhoods in Brooklyn and in Manhattan and stuff like that, when they start going to shit, right? Because in the Bronx, in many areas in Brooklyn, in areas in Queens, Upper Manhattan, these people, the regular people, the regular working class people, they're already dealing with the stuff and they understand what's going on. Unfortunately, those people don't vote in mass. That's just the story. Shame on them. Maybe they should vote more. That's another leg of this that needs to be addressed, right? The people that are actually suffering and the people that are actually understand that this guy is not going to implement a good form of government in New York City, and they want to be safe and they want their kids to be safe and they don't want to worry when their children are going to school. They don't want to worry when they're coming home from work that they're going to get something bad's going to happen to them. They need to step up and they need to come out and vote, just like the liberals out in Brooklyn do. And then maybe you can get a change. But as of right now, they get what they get, and they gotta sit with it. Let them get Mamdani. Let them see what happens. Just make sure that in the end, you don't let them pivot out of it. You said you guys wanted this. You guys wanted this. We told you. That's why we're doing shows like this. That's why we go out there and we talk to people. We're telling you right now exactly what's going to happen. You can go back and play the tape. I'm saying crime is going to go up. NYPD officers are going to resign. The city's going to be dirty. All that free shit is going to bankrupt the city. There you go. Those are the 4 bullet points that I got that I guarantee you will happen after Mamdani gets put into office.
Tish James, the Attorney General, very popular Democratic figure in the state, told me that she sees both Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo as essentially tools of Donald Trump at this point, and she's been rallying support for Mamdani. It does seem to, in a very convoluted way here, be helping Mamdani.
All right, Isaac Dover there live where we will see Mamdani with Bernie Sanders. Thank you so much for that reporting. And we're joined now by White House correspondent for Reuters, Jeff Mason. Jeff, thanks so much for being here with us. I want to pick up.
If you guys are still here, please subscribe to the channel. I know I'm saying it a bit late. Everyone's probably already gone. But if you're still here, it really does me a lot of good. Hit that little subscribe button. We're a small channel trying to grow. We'll finish up the video here, and then we'll go to the next one.
There where Isaac and I just left off. And I want to get your sense of why the president is getting involved with this at all.
Well, it's a good question. I think he's very interested in New York City, as you noted before. He lived there for a long time. He still has a penthouse apartment there. I think he's also using it, as he does with many things, as a bit of a foil, calling out what he considers communist ideals from the Democratic nominee. That's a message that he, as a Republican leader and a Republican politician, is happy to promote in terms of contrast with his own policies. That said, he certainly hasn't made the political decision that it would be useful for him to have him in office. Otherwise, he wouldn't be working behind the scenes, or in some cases, sort of in front of the scenes, to get another candidate to win the race.
Yeah, Doi. Like, what
The fast approaching.
What does that even mean? Like, of course. Like, it goes without saying. Like, look, at the end of the day, New York City is still a financial hub of the world. And to say that, you find it odd that a president has a vested interest, it's not because he's from New York. It's because New York City is the mecca of the United States. It's a financial district. Everything goes through New York City. Everything. I mean, if you want to talk about, California, obviously statewide is the largest, economy in the country. But what you're talking about, New York City, this is where it's at. This is where everything happens. The fall of the city is absolutely going to have that implements the entire world, right? I mean, you look at when 9/11 happened. You look at, anything that affects New York City has a ripple effect throughout the entire world. Obviously, the entire country, and then broadening out throughout the world. So of course, he's going to have a vested interest in not letting it go to shit even more than it is right now. I just don't see it happening. I don't see them being able to fix this. I think he will be mayor. He will be elected in November. I do think, though, that Adams will take a job. I think he will back out of the race. I think he will take a job with the Trump administration. He'll probably pull out in the very end, push the energy behind Cuomo, and then Cuomo has a little bit of a shot. Not great, but he has a shot. But let me know what you guys think below. Let me know who you think is going to be the next mayor, and we can talk about it. If you want to follow me on the X, 6283 Talk on the X. I'm John Soto. I'll see you again in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.